This video is going to cover a standard shooting phase. Right now I have on the field 2 mechs from the Battletech Dominion's Kung's Arm and 2 mechs from the Republic's Triari Protectors. And so they're going to have a little skirmish. So first what I'm going to cover is firing arcs. We're just going to go over some very general basics. So the firing arc for Battletech extends out the front 3 hexes. So this hex all the way out, this hex all the way out, this hex all the way out. So pretty much anything within those 2 arcs from there to here and all the way in front is what that mech can shoot out from its front arc. Now Battletechs can torso twist. So basically what it does is it takes these 3 arcs, or these 3 hexes, and shifts them to here. So once this mech torso twists to the right, it can see out this way, down that hex line, and this way, and then everything in between. Same to the left side. Now the arm can spin out to the right for the right arm, left to the left arm. So the right arm is going to face out that way if the Battletech is standing straight as is now. Left arm will face out this way. If you torso twist, so say he torso twists to the right, and then he can aim his arm directly behind him. So that's always an option, so the Battletech can, usually if it has an arm weapon, reach out behind it and shoot at an opposing target that's trying to get behind him. So before you saw where the Battletechs would wind up this turn. This is how they looked before the initiative was rolled. Initiative being rolled, the Triari Protectors lost initiative. So when you lose initiative, you have to move first. So the first mech that moved would be the Hatcheman. Hatcheman's gonna do a run for 8 movement points. So here he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now he's there. He has a 2 attacker modifier for running and a 3 defensive target modifier because he moved a total of 7 unique hexes. Next up, it goes to the guys who won initiative. So the Grand Dragon is going to be moving first. He has a walking speed of 5. This is the Grand Dragon Mark version. So we're going to walk him 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he walked, so that gets him his attacker modifier of 1, and he moved 5 hexes, so that gets him his defensive target modifier of 2. Next up, we have the Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper can run 6, so we're going to run him using his 6 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now he has a 2 in the back for running, as his attacker modifier, and a 2 in the front for covering 5 unique hexes in the run. So last but not least, we have the Battlemaster. The Battlemaster is going to try to get to the Peacekeeper's flank, so he's going to walk to that light woods. He's going to walk a total of 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3 for the light woods, 4. So he walked a total of 3 hexes, but used all 4 of his movement points. And as you can see, if he torso twists 1 to the right, this hex right here will be his front arc out. If the Peacekeeper were to fire back at him, this hex and he torso twisted, it would take these 3 hexes and make it these 3 hexes, so he could shoot right at the Battlemaster. In Total Warfare, the rules are that once every mech is moved, then you go to weapon declaration phase. And so basically you start with the same way you did movement. The guy who lost the initiative makes the first weapons declaration. Now, when you declare weapons, then what that allows you to do is have all your weapons figured out. So that way, later on, when players are rolling for attacks, say they need just a little bit more damage to get through a mech's armor. If you don't do the weapon declaration phase, you can say, oh, well, I have 1 more gun. I'll just shoot that to see if I can get through your armor. And, oh, there goes another attack. When you use the weapons declarations, you already have the weapons you're going to fire them, and that's it. You can't kind of change your mind or add some to it or any of that later on. So we're going to start out with the Hatcheman. The Hatcheman wants to shoot at the Grand Dragon. So he's going to use he's going to use his 2 ER medium lasers and a rotary autocannon 5. So as you see there, he's using 6 rounds in his rotary autocannon, marked off down there at the bottom next to the 40 rounds. And he's got 2 ER medium lasers with 9s next to them. Those are the to-hit numbers. So let's take a look at the to-hit numbers and how we got there. Each of these pilots are going to be 3-4 pilots. 3 gunnery, 4 piloting. So we're going to start with 3 for the gunnery, 4-5, 6-7. And the rotary autocannon has a short range of 5. We are exactly 5 hexes away, so the rotary autocannon hits on a 7 as you saw. Now the ER medium lasers, those are medium range at this range, because 4 hexes, which is right here, would have been short range. So medium range is a +2 to the to-hit number. So the rotary autocannon hits on 7, the 2 ER medium lasers hit on 9s. Next up, the Grand Dragon is going to declare his shots. He's going to do something a little more difficult. He's going to split his fire. He is going to aim his heavy PPC as the primary target at the hatchman. He's going to aim his LRM-15 at a secondary target at the Peacekeeper. So, the way the numbers work out is you'll see that the Peacekeeper as a secondary target marked on the left needs a 7 for the LRM-15. The LRM-15 is already marked off in the ammo. And then the primary at the hatchman, he needs a 7 as well. So let's take a look at these modifiers, how we got there. So we're going to start out with looking at how he can shoot at the hatchman. So the gunner, as I said before, is a 3 gunner. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that is because it is a short range shot, because the heavy PPC short range is 6 hexes, so we're 5 hexes out, and 7 is the number he'll need. Now, something that'll happen a lot of times is a player will declare a primary and a secondary target. But if you see here, that is the edge of the front arc for the Grand Dragon. Now, being a good sport, most players will just be like, okay, he intended to torso twist. Obviously, there's no reason for him to torso twist to the right, and torso twisting to the left would be just fine. In your regular casual play, campaigns, local game store, all that, most players are very cool with just saying, oh, okay, like I torso twisted, it's obvious. So we're going to treat it as though he torso twisted, because it makes sense. So he's going to start out with his 3 gunner, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 more for being a secondary target in the front arc. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And with LRMs, they're at 7 hexes for short range. And these are inner sphere LRMs, so if he was 6 hexes or closer, that would be within his minimum range for LRMs. Alrighty, next up, we have the Peacekeeper. Now the Peacekeeper, he wants to go after the Big Mech. So he's going after the Battlemaster. Now, we can see that the weapons are all going to require 7s to hit. So the plasma rifle, its ammunition was already marked off, and so the Peacekeeper would be torso twisting to the right. So taking aim at the Battlemaster, needing a 7 for everything, as everything is within short range. So 1 torso twist to the right would take the hexes here, so straight out from here is going to be the edge of the front arc. So 3 gunnery, 4, 5, 6 for the light woods, and 7 for the 1 defensive modifier. Because all of the weapons shown were short range, no need for range modifiers, and the minimum range on the heavy PPC is a 3, so the Battlemaster is 4 hexes out, so that wouldn't affect either. So next up, we have the Battlemaster. Battlemaster is also going to be torso twisting to aim at the Peacekeeper. So as you can see on this sheet, the ammunition for the Gauss rifle and the SRM-6 have already been marked off, and the ER medium lasers, all 4 that he's going to fire out of 6, are going to require 7s to hit. He's going to need a 9 for the SRM-6 and a 7 for the Gauss rifle. So let's add the numbers up. We have a 3 for gunnery, 4 for the 1 in the back, 5 for the light woods, 6, 7 for the defensive modifier of the Peacekeeper. Now SRM-6s, they have a short range of 3. So the Peacekeeper being 4 hexes away is going to gain the medium range modifier. So that is how everything except for the SRAMs is going to require 7 to hit. So now we're going to resolve our shots in declaration order. So first up, we'll just roll the 2 medium lasers. So this guy's shooting didn't do too hot. We got a 6 and a 4. So let's hope we do better with the rotary autocannon 5. Now rotary autocannon 5, we need a 7. So 2 less than the lasers. Not so good at all. Hatcheman is not doing well this turn. So Hatcheman lost all of that ammunition, and those medium lasers went wide. So now we're going to test out the Grand Dragon. We're going to see what kind of shots he can get off. So first we're going to roll for the primary target, the Hatcheman, with the heavy PPC. Looking for a 7 on this one. Ugh, nothing. We got a 5 on that one. Now we'll roll for a 7 for the Peacekeeper. There we go, that's a hit. So we have an 8 for a hit. Being a standard LRM-15, we're going to roll on the cluster hits table. So let's roll the dice to see what our cluster hits are. We got 7. So we're going to observe the cluster table. So 7 on a 15 cluster table means 9 missiles hit. So let's see where they hit the Peacekeeper. So the way LRMs work is they're clusters of 5 damage. So the first 5 are going to hit the Peacekeeper's head. We got a 12 on that one. That is a Peacekeeper's headshot. So because it's just the 5 points of damage, it's not going to go inside of the Battlemech's head. It's just going to hurt the pilot. So now that we've taken a headshot, we have to mark off one location on the consciousness table. So let's see where those other 4 points out of the 9 hit. We have a 5. A 5 on the front, from the front, is going to be a right leg. So the other 4 hit the right leg. So we just mark off 4 bubbles. 4 points, 4 bubbles. Now we have to make a consciousness roll for the Peacekeeper. So we're looking to do a 3 or better. There we go, we have a 7. So he is well awake. If I had rolled a snake eyes, 2 1s, it would have not been good for that Peacekeeper. So next up we have the Peacekeeper shooting. Peacekeeper torso twisted right is shooting at the Battlemaster. Now if you look at the angle of the shot, center of hex to center of hex, you'll see that it crosses through this back hex right here. And what that causes it to be is a right side shot. So let's see if the Peacekeeper can hit him. So we're going to go with a 7 for the plasma rifle. Let's see if that lands. Wow, we got 2 6s again. These are good dice. Now we're going for the heavy PPC. Need a 7. That's an 11 right there. And then we need a 7 on a snub nose. That is a 9 for that roll. I should be saving these rolls for the next game. So all the weapons are going to hit. So the Battlemaster is in for a hurt. Now typically you want to fire the bigger weapon first. And what that means is doing the most damage you can. So say you hit a critical location, it punches through the exterior armor. Then you do a critical hit on the inside. Then smaller hits can go in there and do extra critical hits. And what those critical hits do is they give you the chance to destroy internal locations in armor, heat sinks, gyro, fusion engine, all that stuff that can be very detrimental to a mech's performance. So, using that information, I'm going to fire the heavy PPC first. We're going to see where that hits on the Battlemech. That's going to be a 10. So, we're going to look at the location table, right side location table. 10 will be left arm. So left arm on the Battlemaster for 15 points. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's 15 points for that first hit. Next up, we're going to do a snub nose PPC. We're going to see where that hits. Right side 5. Right side 5 is going to be the right arm. So we're trying to take the arms off, it looks like. So the snub nose PPC at short range will do 10 damage. At medium range it does 8 damage, and at long range it'll do 5 damage. Now the reason it does less damage at further ranges is because it has a 9 hex short range. So the further it gets, the more the lightning bolt dissipates. So we're going to mark 10 damage on that arm. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now finally, we have the plasma rifle. This weapon can be a nightmare because it also deals heat to a mechs. So let's see where it hits. We're going to do a right side 6. Right side 6 is going to be the right leg. So this weapon does 10 points of damage. And then we're going to roll for the heat. We roll 1 die to see how much heat the mech takes. 3 heat. So Battlemaster is going to be taking 3 heat on top of what he took before. That before being how much heat he gains from the shooting phase. So the Battlemaster, all of his shots were right at dissipation. He can dissipate 26 heat. He fired 26 heat worth of weapons. So that's going to bump him up to 3 heat. And no heat effects happen until 5, so it's perfectly fine. Now, one other thing is the Peacekeeper. That battle mech also got a little warm, so he went up to 3 heat as well. Now this Peacekeeper, just to break off for a second, is a slightly modified one. Because this mech is designed around using a type of gear that when it gets really hot, it becomes stronger and the physical attacks hurt more. I'm not a fan of the gear in use called Triple Strength Myomer, so I altered the mech a little bit to give it a slightly weaker PPC, but I also give it another heatsink or two to make it a little closer to being able to use more of its weapons more often. So now it's time to start rolling. So the Battlemaster torso twisted to the right is shooting at the right side of the Peacekeeper. So we're gonna roll that Gauss rifle first. Let's see if we can get a 7. Nope, no 7. Alrighty, next up we'll do the SRM 6 since it's the only one like it. Looking for a 9. Nope, that is a no-go. And now, a trick you can do with this type of scenario is you have 4 ER medium lasers. The exact same weapons, exact same numbers you need. You can take 4 pairs of dice, roll them all, and see what you get. So we're looking on 7s for these. We have a miss, a miss, a miss, and 1 hit. So the Wrestle Dominion is not doing well this turn. So we're going to see where that 1 5-point hit hits on the Peacekeeper. So right side, 6. So this can be the right leg of the Peacekeeper. So just come down here to the Peacekeeper. 2, 4, 6. Now one last thing to look at is damage it's taken. One thing that it requires a piloting skill roll to make sure the pilot keeps the mech standing is if a battle mech takes more than 20 points of damage. Now the Peacekeeper hit the Battlemaster for well over 20 points of damage. So we have to make sure the Battlemaster is still standing. So what you do is you take the piloting skill, which this pilot is a 3-4, so it's a 4 piloting skill, and you add 1 to it for the 20 points of damage. So this battle mech needs to roll a 5. Let's see if we can land a 5. No, wow, look at that. We got 3. So this Battlemaster is not having a good day. After missing all those shots, the battle mech falls down. So now we get to look at the facing after a fall table on this cardstock sheet. So when it zooms, if it zooms, you can see right there, those are all the different possibilities. So let's roll a dice and see what happens. We got, or whoops, that was my mistake. You only roll 1 die for this one. 6. So 6 is 1 hex side left, falls on the left side. So down he comes crashing. So the way this works is you deal damage per the tonnage. So this battle mech is 85 tons. So 85, that's an odd number. So we have to make it, so we're gonna be rounding up. So it's going to do 9 points of damage. because you can't do 8.5 damage to a battle mech. So rounding up, that's going to be 9 points of damage. Now, just like the LRMs, this is rolled in clusters. So let's roll and see where the first 5 points of damage hit on the left side. So 8, left side. So that's going to be center torso for 5 damage. And now the last 4 points. We have 3. 3 left side is left leg. So, as you can see, the Battlemaster's chewed up quite a bit already. That's not severe damage. He's still got plenty of room to move. He's still got that Gauss rifle to throw some rounds at people. But that is the basic shooting turn. To recap, the basic shooting turn is starting with the person who lost the initiative. They declare a mech that and its weapons it's going to fire, the numbers it needs. Then the guy who won initiative. Then the one who lost, the one who won. All the way through until all the mechs have been declared. Once all the battle mechs have been declared, then you start rolling for shots. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the same order as they've all done their declarations. Now, when there are multiple people playing the game, say you have 2-on-2, 3-on-3, then if 2 players are shooting each other and 2 other players are shooting each other, you can of course split off so that you guys are just rolling against each other. You don't have to wait until everyone's watching for one mech to attack another. That's just one way to speed things up. There's also other house rules out there to alter the movement, such as using D20 dice. And really, that's about all there is to the shooting phase. You declare your shots, you fire your shots, you make your piloting skill rolls. Thanks for watching.